Hi, this is Karl with an important video for people who are starting new businesses. You need a mind shift when you start your business, and there's two critically important things you have to commit to day one, absolutely and definitively. The first one seems obvious, but it is not. You have to go get yourself a client. The second one is a lot less obvious, but it's critically important for your long-term success. So let's start with thing number one. You have to get a client. Too many people, when they start their businesses, go make sure that they've got the right office, that their desk is all set up, they got a great laptop, they got good monitors, they got great visibility, everything's working, they've subscribed to the right software, they have good tools, on and on and on. None of those activities get you a client. I don't care how you get a client. I don't care where you get a client. You can call your grandmother. You can knock on doors. You can ask the person who mows your lawn, hey, do you need a website? Are you subscribed to Microsoft Office? I can help you out. Here's the thing. Even if you don't have suppliers, even if you don't know how you would acquire Microsoft Office so that you could sell it to them, doesn't matter. How you're going to source hardware and software doesn't matter. First, you have to go get a client. Go get yourself the challenge of supplying hardware and software and services, and then you will figure out how to do it. The beautiful thing about IT or any industry is that we're a very well-connected world, right? As we move into 2025, the world is full of people who want to talk to each other about what they do for a living. There are a million places online where you can get advice about whatever your new business is. Now, I happen to work with IT consultants, so I know how well connected we are, but the rest of the world is just as connected. So whatever you're doing, commit to yourself. There is absolutely no higher priority than getting a client. And I acknowledge you need a logo, you need a website, you need suppliers, you need vendors, you need a line of credit, you need to get a tax ID, you need to get a bank account, you need a lot of things. There's a long list of things you need to do. I wrote a book about that. I highly encourage you to all buy a copy of that and one for your friends and family. Mother's Day is coming up, right? But the point is, you don't have to do any of that until you have a client. You literally don't even have to worry about how you're going to collect money and where you're going to put it until you go get a client. And it's critically important that you understand, marketing is not sales. Marketing does wonderful and amazing things, and it's the fun part of being in business, but sales is the hard part. Sales happens when you ask somebody to give you their money. Sales happens when you say, I can do that, it will cost this. Would you like me to do that? Because if you do, send me the money. So creating letterhead, creating a website, setting up your office, all have to be done someday. You got to figure out your health insurance. You got to figure out the tax structure. You got to get a business license. You got to do lots of things. But you don't have to do any of those things until you actually have a business, and you do not have a business until you have a client. Now, the low-tech, pretty much guaranteed way of getting your first client is to go knock on doors and say, hi, I do IT or whatever you do. Is anybody here interested in talking about that? Does anybody need my services? Can you use somebody to give you a second opinion on a job? You have to go talk to people. You have to go ask them for your money. Now, you will also join local networking groups, go to business-related meetups, go to places where other business people hang out. And you really want to make sure that you're talking to business owners, not the salespeople that they frequently send to these meetings because they're all marketing to each other and there's nobody there who can actually make a decision. You want to talk to business owners. So it might be the Chamber of Commerce, it might be Kiwanis, it might be local business meetups. Whatever it is, go out into the community, meet people, and ask them for their money. Ask them for their business. Ask what you can do to help them. There is nothing, absolutely nothing more important than that in your business. And that leads to the second thing, which is mindset. When you're in business for yourself, beginning today, beginning the day that you say that you're actually in business, you have to play by a different set of rules. You have to play by your rules, not my rules, not your former boss's rules, not your mother's rules, not your father's rules, not the rules of anybody else in the industry that you are in. When you are in business for yourself, you absolutely and definitively have to do business your way. If you want to start sitting down and being in the office at 6 a.m., you should do that. If you want to be in the office at 10 a.m., you should do that. You want to go home at 4 in the afternoon, you should do that. You want to go home at midnight, you should do that. Whatever it is you want to do, you should do it. And here's why this is so critically important. As you build your business, you literally have two options. You can take the advice of everybody else in the universe, and that will lead you, best case scenario, to mediocrity. That will lead you to the average of what the average person giving average advice in the average world does. And even if you think that you're looking at what the geniuses do and the best practices, right? Well, you read 10 books on the best practices on your business, and guess what you're going to find? They all have almost the exact same advice. And if that advice hits home to you and it makes sense to you and you choose to adopt it, that's fine. But it's okay to also say, I'm going to play by my rules. I'm going to do things my way. At least at the beginning, you need to try to make your business as unique as possible. Here's the beautiful thing. You always hear about something called the unique sales proposition or unique selling proposition or service proposition, whatever. Guess what the uniqueness is? The uniqueness is you as a human being are unlike every other human being on the face of the earth and in the entire history of the human race. So you are already unique. Let your light shine. Go out into the world and do business the way you want to do business. And especially in these times, the stock market, it went down a couple of years ago, but the reality is it's been going up for 20 years. It is not going to go down very far, and if it does, it's not going to stay there for very long. We have an expanding global economy, and it's going to go up, which means there's more and more money all the time, and you don't need a bunch of it. You don't need 1 billion, you don't need 1 trillion, you don't even need 100,000. You need one client. You need to go get one client, sign one contract, make one deal, and then go out and get the next one and the next one and the next one. Now, here's where those two pieces of advice come together. Inside your business, you need to focus on priorities. What is the first, second, and third priority every minute of every day, every hour of every day, every week, every month? You must be working on the single most important thing you have to do. Today, that is, go get a client. But what about tomorrow? What about what happens after you get your first client and after you get your second client? Well, inside your business, things have to work on priorities. Outside your business, the way that your business connects with the rest of the world is through something called a calendar. A calendar is a way for people who don't care about your priorities to put something onto your list of things to do. I highly encourage you, do not use calendars inside your business unless you have to the extent that you have to connect with the outside world. On the inside, don't have a calendar that says, oh, I'm going to have a meeting here and a meeting here and a meeting here and and I'm going to fill up all my time doing things that are not relevant to getting a client, right? Inside your business, Once you get a client, well, now you got to figure out how to deliver those services. And the highest priority may be find a source for hardware and software. It might be to find a way to legally sell them something, charge sales tax, whatever, right? Your priorities will shift and shift and shift forever and ever and ever. But don't let the outside world tell you, well, you gotta have a logo and you gotta have a website and you gotta do this and you gotta do this and you gotta do this. You can spend easily $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 getting the perfect office and the perfect laptop and the perfect monitors and the perfect setup and the perfect logo and the perfect website, and you've lost $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 and you don't have any clients. So, priorities, priorities, priorities inside your business. You set the rules. You decide what the next thing is. Now, there's a challenge in that. A lot of people don't stay in business very long because they don't have the discipline to do the things that absolutely have to be done. I have known people, I have worked with people who did not make it a priority to send out invoices. They love the work, they love helping people, and so they worked and worked and worked, and they never sent out invoices, and guess what happened? They had to go out of business because if you don't send out an invoice and you don't collect money, you don't get to pay your rent. You don't get to pay your mortgage. You don't get to have a family that loves you because you support them, right? You have to set those priorities. And the fact that somebody is yelling and screaming from the outside world and telling you, you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to do this, those are not as important as what you need to do inside your business. You need to make you and your business a high priority. And that means you set the rules. You determine whether you're going to answer the phone or not answer the phone. I don't answer the phone, period. End of story. I don't answer the phone. My daughter calls me. She does not expect me to answer the phone. She's shocked and surprised if I happen to have it in my hand and it rings and I pick it up and she's like, oh, I didn't expect you to answer, right? So you can set whatever rules you want. Do business your way. There are plenty of people who need your services, want to do business with you, and will do business with you. You just have to show up and say, here's how we do business. This is when we work. This is how we work. This is what I charge. This is what I do. This is not what I do. Draw those lines. There are services I don't provide, whether it's because I don't have the competence, which is fine, or I just don't like doing it, right? So I'm not going to provide services I don't want to provide. I'm not going to do things I don't want to do. I didn't get into business so that I could follow the rules of a boss that I hated 5, 10, 15 years ago. Be you. Love your job. There's nothing in the world, absolutely nothing in the world better than being self-employed and having the independence that comes with setting your rules and interacting with the world the way you want to. And the more you follow other people's rules, the less happy you're going to be. You might make money, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to be happy following someone else's rules. When you get into business and you've been in it, let's say 2 or 3 years, and you hate your job, you hate your clients, you hate the services you deliver, you hate the schedule that you've got, there's only one person you can blame, you. So, day one, set priorities, know what's important, know what you want to do, figure out what your way of doing business is, and then go out in the world and ask people for their money. Ask people to do business with you. And you'll be shocked and amazed, no matter who you are, no matter what kind of a weirdo you are, somebody wants to do business with you, right? So be yourself and go out in the world and create a business that you will love. And 5 years from now, go watch this video again and say, wow, I'm really glad I took his advice, even though his advice appears to be, don't take anybody else's advice. I do wish you the best of luck in your new business, and if I can help with anything, or you just want to talk about something, you ping me, and we will set up a meeting. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Karl P, wishing you a happy new year and the absolute best of luck in your new business.